Welcome to the Word of Truth. This is Teacher D.H. Boone. Today's message is called Don't Go Back There. As we know about the story about Lot and his wife and how Lot's wife looked back when the angel of the Lord, when he delivered them out of Sodom and Gomorrah, told them not to look back, else they would be destroyed. And as the angel of the Lord was leading them out of Sodom and Gomorrah for their immoralities and how they was living their life, they wasn't living their life according to the ways of the Lord. So God was delivering them and told them not to look back. But we see that Lot's wife looked back and she was destroyed. And we see that she was moving forward, but her mind and her heart was back there where God had delivered them from. So the moral of the story is you could be moving forward, but your mind and your heart could be back somewhere else. Don't go back to that place of hurt, because when you go back to that place of hurt, then that hurt, it keep hurting you over and over again. That person keep hurting you over and over again. If you want to be set free, don't go back to that place. Wherever God delivered you from, you have to make sure that you say, hey, I'm not going back to that place. That's why sometimes people end up losing their lives and certain things happen to them because they go back to a place where God delivered them from. But we're not talking about just a physical sense, but we are talking about a mental and emotional and spiritual sense as well. And we all have had someone to offend us, to hurt us in a very deep way. Some people have had traumatic experiences that someone had done to them in their past. But see, in order for you to be set free, you have to let it go. You have to forgive that person. You have to forgive them and you have to forgive yourself. Even if you have done something, you have to make sure you forgive as you want God to forgive you. See, the enemy is not after things, he's after your mind. And he'll try to hold you back to the same situation that happened to you over 10 years ago, a year ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. You know, some people, they end up bitter in life and resentful is because of the unforgiveness that they have in their heart. But when you don't forgive that person, they hurt you over and over and over again, and they have power over you. And in order to release that power, you have to forgive them. You don't have to be in a personal relationship with them in order to forgive them. But don't go back to that place mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It's time to set your soul free. It's time to say, hey, this is a new day. Just like Paul say, he is not looking back. He's forgetting the former things. He's pressing for the things ahead. He's pressing for those things that God have for him. Because God said, I'm going to do a new thing. When this spring forth, I will tell you so. So let God do that new thing inside you. Whatever happened to you in the past, when you was a child, when you was a teenager, a young adult, or whatever, an adult, if somebody really offended you and hurt you to your core, now is the time for you to forgive. Now is the time for you to say, it's time to set my soul free. It's time for me to be free. It's time for me to have my peace of mind, be free mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, so I could live my life, so I could keep moving forward. God say those who have their hand on the plow and looking back is not fit for the kingdom. So now is the time for you to have your hand on the plow and keep going forward. Release that power that person had on you. Take your power back and say, enemy, you are not going to hurt me over and over and over again. I choose to forgive. I choose to let this thing go. Just make sure that you stop going back to that place. Let God do a new thing in you and stop letting the same thing hurt you over and over again. When we hold it and we hold on to unforgiveness, we holding on to the power that the enemy have over you. Just like the enemy, God uses people, the enemy uses people as well. And that evil spirit is working through that person who hurt you. Now is the time to forgive. Now is the time to set your soul free. Now is the time for you to say, Lord, I release this. Just like the things that I've done to hurt others, I want to be forgiven, so I'm going to forgive. I don't want to go back to that place, and I don't want nobody else to go to a place for something I did. So, Lord, I'm asking you to forgive me for the commission, omission of my sins in word, deed, and thought. And Father, I choose to forgive others. It's time to stop going back to that place mentally, so your mind can be renewed and your heart could get transformed. See, a lot of times you can't move forward because you keep looking back. You can't drive a car going forward if you keep looking back. In order for you to go forward successfully, you have to keep looking forward. You have to keep your eyes and mind in front of you. You have to keep your eyes and mind on the Lord so you could keep it moving. So now is the time for you have to say once and for all, I'm not going back there. I'm not going to do it. I'm officially saying that I'm moving forward. I'm releasing all hurts, all offenses, all whatever somebody said about me, whatever somebody did to me, I'm releasing it because I could go through anything as long as I had the Lord with me. Remember, you could do all things through Christ which strengthens you. And one of the things you could do as well is you could release, you could forgive. Jesus died for you to be forgiven, so he died for you to forgive others as well. So now is the time for you to stop looking back. Let go of that hurt. Stop going back to that place mentally and emotionally and spiritually. And that's why a lot of times people can't move forward, and that may be a reason why you're not moving. It's because you're still in the back. You're still looking in your rearview mirror when you should be looking forward. You should be looking at the road ahead of you. And so you won't miss your stop. You won't miss your destination. You will see where you're going, but you can't see where you're going forward if you keep looking back. So stop looking back. Stop letting that thing hurt you. Once and for all, release it and take your power back so you can start getting your mind healed, with your emotions being healed spiritually, and you could start and me and your relationship back with the Lord, and you could start loving yourself. And no, it's okay because everyone been through something. Everyone been through some type of hurt. Whatever you've been through is somebody else been through something just as bad or even worse. So now it's the time to let it go. Use your tragedy to be a triumph in somebody's life. Woo! Praise the Lord, for the Lord is good and his mercy endureth forever. It's time for you to heal, and it's time for you to move forward and let it go. And again, you don't have to be in a personal relationship with a person in order to forgive them. God knows your heart. He's a reader of heart. He knows when a person have repented and people are sorry for what they did. Okay? So until next time, may the peace of God be with you. Peace.